Elite center-backs know exactly when to move together and when to hold position. That's what makes them unstoppable. But before we dive in, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment. What do you find most difficult about maintaining compactness? This helps us create more analysis that you want to see. Compactness is one of the most commonly used terms in football, but let's look at what it actually means in real game situations. Here, we see a classic back four with appropriate distances between defenders. The difficult part for a center-back begins when a decision has to be made. Should Pavlović move wider to maintain compactness with the left fullback? In zonal defending, the entire defensive line shifts toward the ball side to support one another. Watch how Pavlović prepares his body shape even before the pass is played. He recognizes that the player in the center is completely free and could potentially attack the space behind Milan's left fullback. At the same time, the right center-back, Tomori, remains responsible for the opposition striker. Compactness isn't only about distances between defenders, it's also about the relationship between the defensive line and the midfield line. Here, Betis' defensive midfielder steps forward to press. Both center-backs follow by moving higher toward the free players between the lines, preventing a gap from appearing inside their defensive block. However, they quickly recognize from the goalkeeper's body language that a long pass is likely coming. Immediately, they drop deeper to protect the space behind. Then, after a short pass, they step up again. Pay attention to what happens when the left back jumps out to press. The nearest center-back immediately drops diagonally to cover the space left behind. There is no reason for the center-back to leave his position and engage wide because his teammate is already there. That's why both center-backs remain central. Now let's look at Liverpool's defensive line after their press has been broken. Notice how the distance between the two center-backs becomes large enough for Milan to attack the space between them. Who do you think creates the problem here? Van Dijk or Konaté? Liverpool managed to stop the attack and Milan have to restart possession. This is actually one of the most dangerous moments for defenders, when it feels like the danger has passed. At this point, Konaté's priority should be restoring compactness in the central area. Instead, he stays wider, assuming Milan are not ready to attack. As a result, Liverpool once again leave a gap in the center. With this much distance between them, neither Konaté nor Van Dijk can properly control runs between the two center-backs. Here's a similar situation involving Atlético Madrid's defensive line. The right center-back is forced to move wider toward the flank. However, this time his partner reacts correctly and immediately closes the space being left behind. This is what compact defending looks like. Compactness isn't just about maintaining distance. It's about maintaining a distance that allows you to support your teammate if something goes wrong. Want to improve your positioning like a professional? This is what ForPro does. We break down your matches, your positioning decisions, your compactness mistakes that are holding you back. Together, we'll show you exactly how to maintain the defensive shape like Van Dijk and Pavlović. Book your session with ForPro. Link is in the description. To organize the defensive line effectively, center-backs must understand when to step higher and when to prepare for balls in behind. Watch Bodo Glimt's defensive line when Inter play the ball backwards. As soon as the backward pass is made, the entire line steps forward together to maintain the compactness of the team's overall structure. While the ball is traveling backward, the space behind them is not under threat. However, once Inter switch play and Bastoni receives the ball facing forward, preparing for a long pass, the line immediately drops deeper. This is what we call reacting to an open ball. Now let's look at a more difficult decision-making situation. Initially, Liverpool's defensive line steps higher to maintain vertical compactness. The problem begins when the left fullback aggressively jumps forward to press, while Milan still have a free player in central midfield. Now Van Dijk has a choice to make. Should he stay in position and allow the opponent to receive freely between the lines, or should he aggressively step out and commit to the duel? The key skill here is recognizing risk, and in this situation, Van Dijk misjudges it. If he fails to win the ball, two Milan players are immediately ready to attack the space left behind by both him and his fullback. There's another important question: was the risk even necessary? Look at Liverpool's defensive midfielder. He's already close enough to engage in the duel himself. Now let's look at an example where the center back absolutely should step out. First, there is a free opponent between the lines. Second, there is a player on the ball who is ready to find him with a pass. Third, there is no striker threatening the space behind the defense. This is the perfect moment to compress the space between the lines and step forward aggressively. However, whenever a center back steps out of the defensive line, the movement must be coordinated with the rest of the back line, especially the other center back. Let's see why. Here, the left center back follows his opponent out of the line. But look at Chelsea's right center back. He doesn't react at all. He fails to narrow the space left behind by his teammate. As a result, when the ball is played into that space, he's simply too far away to prevent the shot. Let's recap the key points of elite center-back positioning. Move with the defensive line to maintain compactness. Be close enough to support your teammate if needed. Monitor distances between defenders and midfield lines. Recognize the difference between open and closed balls. These 4 principles separate elite center-backs from everyone else. Now it's your move. Comment. What do you find most difficult about maintaining compactness? Like, if this changed how you understand defensive positioning. Subscribe. For the next tactical breakdown, we're analyzing pressing next. Share. With a defender who needs to master this. If you enjoyed this breakdown, watch more tactical analysis from ForPro.